Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Sunday night showdown with the NEXXTCAR Racing League here on iRacing. Tonight, the Truck Series heads to Dover International Speedway for the cutoff race to see who will be going to Homestead, Miami next weekend with a shot of lifting the NEXXTCAR Truck Series Championship trophy. Last week at Auto Club, David Chandler played spoiler to the truck playoff drivers en route to his first career win in the NEXXTCAR Racing League. What kind of momentum will that give David and some of the other non-playoff drivers in the field this week? With David's win last week, no one is locked into the championship round. Dover, a track with a lot of character and a lot of anger. Miles the Monster does not care who you are, and he does not care if you're in the playoffs or not. These drivers are going to be challenged all night long for 175 miles. Well, it's time to go racing, and it's time to find out who will be fighting for a championship in 1 week. This is the NEXXTCAR Racing League, and this is Dover International Speedway.
It has to happen. Gotta prove myself. It has to happen like this, like this. You're going up against the greatest, and it's gonna get messy. If you wanna try to test me, you're going up against the greatest. Take a swing, you're gonna miss me. Yeah, it's going down in history. I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest.
Dover International Speedway, the location for the cutoff race here of round number 2 and the NEXXTCAR Truck Series playoffs. Tonight, when that checkered flag flies to signal the end of tonight's race, we will find out who will have a shot at Homestead, Miami next weekend at lifting that NEXXTCAR Truck Series Championship trophy. That is right, folks. The season is winding down. Just 2 races remaining in Season 4. It is hard to believe that just not too long ago, it feels like we were at Talladega kicking things off for Season 4. And now, we are 1 race away from crowning your champion. Next week, Homestead, Miami. Well, that's where these drivers are going to go battling for that NEXXTCAR Truck Series Championship trophy. But, folks, they cannot look too far ahead because Miles the Monster is waiting for them tonight. 175 laps, 175 miles. These drivers are going to have to be up for the challenge tonight. Miles the Monster does not play nice. He doesn't care if you're in the playoffs. He doesn't care who you are. He will reach out and grab you if you are not careful. You can see him right there just on the outskirts of the racetrack holding the car. Unfortunately, that's a Dodge Charger, so iRacing needs to update that a little bit because obviously, unfortunately, Dodge is no longer in NASCAR. But, man, like I said, Miles the Monster does not care who you are, whether you're in the playoffs, battling for a spot in the championship or just out there for fun. He does not care, and he will make his presence felt tonight. Absolutely no doubt about it. But these drivers, 175 laps, 175 miles tonight. These drivers better be ready. They better be buckled in because they're going to be going for a wild ride tonight. Absolutely no doubt about it. You're going to find out who is up for the challenge and who is just not quite ready yet. But Dover is definitely a tough task. These drivers, like I said, they better be ready. Absolutely no doubt about it. But tonight, we're going to find out who is going to be your championship 4 heading into next week at Homestead, Miami, Florida, where we will crown your Season 4 NEXXTCAR Truck Series champion. And it definitely is going to be a good race tonight to get there. We talked about it. The regular season, it was rough. The playoffs were even rougher. And when you made it out of the first round and into the second round, well, that path to the championship trophy did not get easier. Last round, these drivers had 3 races. Well, guess what, folks? In round number 2, they only had 2 races. Last week at Auto Club, this week at Dover. And guess what? Last week in Auto Club, not a single one of the 8 drivers in the playoffs were able to get to victory lane and clinch their spot in the championship 4. So there's still 4 positions open tonight after this race. Or I'm sorry, coming into this race. So these drivers, they all know what's at stake. We'll pull up your points here in a minute. But yeah, 8 drivers. And realistically, all 8 of them still have a shot of making the playoffs. The points are as tight as they could be for several of these drivers. So tonight's race is going to be key. Miles the Monster, he's not going to play nice to anyone. And these playoff drivers better remember that, because this race can make or break your championship run. We heard Peyton Tulloch mention it several weeks ago. The second round was probably the scariest of them. You had Auto Club. Anything can happen there. You heard Peyton in the podcast a couple weeks ago. Coming into Dover, you need to have a comfortable gap. Well, right now, he's the only one that can say he has a pretty comfortable gap. So anything can happen tonight, folks. Miles the Monster, well, what a better place, what a better race, and what a better track than decide who's going to battle for a championship. But folks, practice is over. Hopefully these drivers figured out what they got to do, because it is qualifying time here at Dover International Speedway. Waiting to see who's going to be the first one to come out. That is going to go to the way of Cole Larson. He's going to be the first one to come out in that number 20. Dustin Bloodworth, David Chandler, they're all going to make their way off of pit road as well. But folks, let's go ahead and let's check out your points coming into tonight's race, and you will see just how close it is. Sorry, the graphics a little different. Unfortunately, Matthew Erickson is not able to finish out the season, and unfortunately is not able to do the points like he was doing. So the graphics going to be a little different tonight, but hey, we're going to do what we can here. But right now, Peyton Tulloch leading the way with 3,064 points, 17 points above that cutoff line. In second, Nick Trudeau, just 8 points above that cutoff line. Then in third, you've got your regular season champion, Nicholas Don Francisco, just 7 points above that cutoff line. And then Matt Tucker, just 5 above it. So all 4 of those guys, the only one sitting comfortable right now above that cutoff line is Peyton Tulloch. Then you got Jonathan Duncan. He's 5 points below that cutoff line in 5th. And then in 6th is Andrew Bolander. Bolander's only 7 below that cutoff line. So that battle between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th is as tight as it possibly could be. 15 points total separate 2nd to 6th, folks. So those guys below that cutoff line are not out of it when it comes to Duncan and Bolander. Now, 7th and 8th, Cedric Ingram, 20 points below the cutoff line. Robert Babcock, 25 points below the cutoff line. Both of those guys almost in a must-win situation if they do not get good stage points. Cedric Ingram and Robert Babcock both have got to get good stage points if they do not want to be forced into having to come out of Dover with a win. Well, when it comes to this season, no one has been clutcher than Cedric Ingram. Clutched his way into the playoffs in the first round, quietly but surely made his way into the second round. So if there's anyone on this list that could easily, below that cutoff line, clutch his way into the championship 4 when he needs it the most, Cedric Ingram could be your guy. But Robert Babcock as well, in almost a must-win situation, 25 points below your cutoff line. But right now, coming into tonight's race, Peyton Tulloch, Nicholas Trudeau, Nicholas Don Francisco, and Matt Tucker all holding on to those championship 4 positions, with Jonathan Duncan, Andrew Bolander, Cedric Ingram, and Robert Babcock going for it all tonight. But folks, let's get your schedule up. You can see it. Week number 15 at Dover International Speedway, 175 laps for 175 miles tonight. And then next week, we crown your Truck Series champion at Homestead, Miami. What a season it has been, folks. I can't believe that we are almost done with Season 4. Season 4 has been a fantastic season. Absolutely no doubt about it. But hey, it's not over yet. We can't quite look back at it yet, so let's look forward to tonight's race here in week number 15 at Dover International Speedway for your Season 4 playoffs, Round 2, race number 2 for Miles the Monster 175, presented by HVAC Designs and W Energy. HVAC Designs, owned and operated by our very own Matthew Erickson, who has painted so many of these beautiful trucks you're going to see on the track tonight, and all those beautiful cup cars you will see tomorrow night right here at Dover International Speedway. 175 laps for 175 miles, folks, of pure, absolute challenging laps. These drivers, they're going to have to be careful, but they're going to have to race with their elbows out. And then that stage break, about the only time these drivers will get to take a breather tonight is on lap 90. Excuse me, but you can see it right there. 65 degree Fahrenheit with 84% humidity under clear skies. The sun is out, not a cloud in sight, for 11 mile an hour winds. We are in for a great race tonight around this 1 mile concrete track. That concrete, 71 degrees Fahrenheit here in Dover, Delaware, in the shadow of the Dover Air Force Base, right here in the first state of the United States of America, right here in Dover International Speedway. But folks, these drivers, qualifying has just closed out. The first 5 minutes are over. And boy, do we got quite a few interesting characters up at the front of this field tonight. We'll get your starting grid up here in a minute. So, excuse me. But yeah, what a very interesting starting grid we're going to have for your cutoff race tonight. I'm looking forward to tonight's race. Dover is definitely a very tough track, even down the straightaways. The front stretch and back stretch, they are banked at 14-degree banking. So these drivers, you're going to have to be careful, because if you do wreck, well, more than likely these cars are going to be coming back down the track towards that inside wall. This is what you call a self-cleaning track. You wreck up against the outside wall, well, the banking, it's going to roll you down to that inside wall. So these drivers are going to have to be mindful of that. You see a wreck ahead of you, more likely you're going to want to go to the outside to get by it, and you're going to see just who remembers that as this race progresses. But Dover International Speedway, we are 3 minutes away from action at this 1 mile track. Miles the Monster, you can see him right there, waiting to claim his first victim of the night. Will it be a playoff driver? Or will it be someone just out here trying to do what David Chandler did last week at Auto Club? Spoil the party for these 8 drivers in the playoffs. David Chandler last week got his first trip to victory lane in the NEXXTCAR Racing League. So shout out to David. In a season that has not gone the way that he wanted, it has definitely not been a great season for David. He would probably be in the playoffs right now if he did not miss a couple of weeks ago to open up the playoffs. So if he did not miss that race, well, after that win last week, he might have been fighting for a championship 4 spot. But, unfortunately, that's hindsight's always 20/20, So, but David rose to the challenge, did not let that stop him, and he found his way to victory lane at Auto Club last week. He had to earn it, no doubt about it. Paint to luck, Matt Tucker. They did not make it easy. Jonathan Duncan was right up there with them. So they definitely gave him a run for the money. But in the end, it was David Chandler who was getting that first checkered flag ever. But folks, right now, 2 minutes until gridding, and we go racing to find out who is going to earn themselves a spot in the championship 4. Last week with David getting that win, well, that kept the playoff drivers, somebody locking themselves into the next round. So 4 drivers all coming into tonight's race, all 4 positions available, all 4 open 2 points. Tonight, will it be another non-playoff driver spoiling the party, or will somebody be able to rise and get some momentum heading into Homestead, Miami next weekend? Just a reminder, next week on Thursday is Thanksgiving, but next weekend we will be racing to crown your champion. So next weekend is not an off week at all. These drivers will be going to battle for that Truck Series Championship trophy. And you're going to hear me talking about that championship trophy. If you guys have not seen the pictures, we actually do give out a championship trophy to your champion. So unlike a lot of other leagues that, hey, congrats, you're a champion, we actually give out a trophy, a very nice trophy. I believe the one that we sent out last season was 27 inches tall, if I'm not mistaken. So, hey, it's a pretty big trophy. You know, you give one out to the champion in the Cup Series and one to the champion in the Truck Series. So these guys are not just out here racing for that championship bragging right. They're actually out here racing for some hardware as well. But, folks, these drivers got to put that trophy in the back of their head because they are about to go to one of the toughest tracks in the NASCAR circuit, and it's going down right here, right now at Dover International Speedway. Just 30 seconds until we hit the grid. Dover International Speedway. Got a lot of close ties to this track. I've been stationed right here at Dover Air Force Base for 9 years now. And Ryan Blaney, my buddy, gets me tickets almost every year for the hot passes and everything. But, folks, it's qualifying time is over. It is time to hit the grid. And let's get your... Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Trying to find a good grid camera. I guess we're just going to be looking at the pace truck driver for a minute. So let's go and let's get your starting grid up for tonight's race. Frank Hughes Jr. coming in to spoil his party. He's going to grab the pole for tonight's race with Matt Tucker in second. Row number 2 is going to go to Peyton Tulloch and Alberto Abar making his return. David Chandler in 5th with Nicholas Don Francisco. Remember, David Chandler riding high off of the momentum from Auto Club. Chuck Thornton in 7th with a fantastic run. Andrew Bolander in 8th. Robert Babcock 9th. Dylan Tibbetts in 10th. Nicholas Trudeau in 11th. Sean Walton 12th with Christopher Thomas 13th. Cole Larson 14th. Cedric Ingram 15th. Steve Bocock in 16th with J.D. Larson in 17th. Austin Walton in 18th. Dustin Bloodworth 19th. Jimmy Emos rounding out the field in 20th. What do you guys say we try to queue up your pole sitter here for a quick pre-race interview and see just how he feels about tonight's race coming into it? Frank Hughes Jr., it's Ronnie in the booth. You got me, buddy?
Yes, sir. I do got you.
All right, man. Coming in and spoiling the party and championship cutoff racing format here at Dover, getting the pole. How do you feel about it tonight?
I feel all right. Confident.
Absolutely, buddy. What's it going to take tonight to get it done?
Just be smart on the wheel. Don't jerk it too much, and should be good.
Absolutely, brother. Well, best of luck tonight. You're going to have some hungry guys behind you.
That's for sure.
All right, so there you have it from your pole sitter, Frank Hughes Jr. Frank Hughes Jr., your pole sitter, and that number 61. But, folks, we are getting ready to go racing here at Dover International Speedway. Next time by, that Chevy Silverado pace truck will be hooking the hard left onto pit road, and we will be getting ready to go racing for 175 laps, 175 miles. A great shot of all 20 of the NEXXTCAR Truck Series drivers making their way around this 1 mile bank track of Dover. This track is fast. You're going to see these drivers in the Truck Series not lifting a whole lot into these corners. This track races very similar to Las Vegas early on in the season, where these drivers can hold it just about wide open into these corners. This track is only a mile in length, but folks, it races almost like a super speedway. That could be good, and that could be bad for these drivers tonight. But folks, they got to put the butterflies behind them. They got to put everything that could happen next week behind them, and they are going to have to focus on tonight's race, because Dover International Speedway is the site for your cutoff race to find out who is going to battle for a championship trophy next week. The pace truck is on pit lane, and for the first time, the field is coming out of turn 4 to the Geico restart zone. We are racing at Dover International Speedway, and they're already wrecking. Major playoff implications early on for Nick Trudeau heading into the Geico restart zone. Caution is out on lap 1. Not the way you want to get this thing started if you are Nick Trudeau in that number 89. Let's back it up and see what exactly transpired into the Geico restart zone. Remember, folks, these drivers, you can see exactly where that Geico restart zone is. Well, if you're not in the first, 3 rows, and you can see Nick just gas it up, and it all just stacks up right in front of him. The 72, something happened with the 72 of Chuck Thornton here. Oh, it all stacks up in front of him. And then he was kind of the accordion effect. Something with David Chandler. Does Peyton try to guess it here? Peyton runs into the back of Frank Hughes Jr., and that stacks up everything out back. And unfortunately, Nick Trudeau got the worst end of it there in that number 89. So, hey, we talked about the playoffs, just how tight it was from 2nd down to 7th. Well, Nick Trudeau came into tonight's race just above that cutoff line, just 8 points. So, not the way that 89 truck wanted to start his race tonight. But, folks, your caution is out for the first time tonight, and you can see Nick Trudeau working his way down pit lane in that number 89. Let's hit on a couple of your other drivers, your playoff drivers right now. Matt Tucker, he's up there in the lead right now in that number 25. You got Paint to Luck. Paint to Luck's in 3rd. He came into tonight's race 17 points above the cutoff line. Matt Tucker, like we just mentioned, is your leader right now. He came into tonight's race just 5 points above that cutoff line. So Tucker needs a good run tonight. No doubt about it. That 25 has got to find a way to put together a solid run. And then you got Nicholas Don Francisco in 5th. He came into tonight's race just 7 points above that cutoff line. Andrew Bolander in 7th came into tonight's race 7 points below the cutoff line. So while Nick Trudeau just had his heartfelt start to the race, well, Andrew Bolander looking to capitalize on that as much as he can. And then further down the field, you got Robert Babcock in 12th. He came into tonight's race 25 points below the cutoff line, so just almost in a must-win situation for that truck. And then Cedric Ingram in the 19th stopped on the apron of turns 1 and 2. Something amiss with that 19 of Cedric Ingram. The pace truck going by the 19. Now Ingram's going to get it fired up, and he's going to get that 19 truck rolling. Not sure exactly what happened there with Cedric Ingram, but he's going to get that 19 truck fired and rolling again. But, folks, the field, side by side, the lights are off on that pace truck. Let's rack them and stack them and do it again here for attempt number 2 at the restart. Matt Tucker in the 25 is the control truck on this restart, choosing the outside line with Alberto Ebar right behind him. The pace truck dipping back onto pit road. The field, once again, coming out of turn number 4 into the Geico restart zone. And for the second time early on, we are going back racing here at Dover. A much better restart this time. The field immediately going to fan out here through turns 1 and 2. Side by side back here with Dylan Tibbetts and Andrew Bolander. That is for the 7th position, Tibbetts. And the caution is out for the second time. Chuck Thornton bringing out this one in that 72. Jimmy Emos, Steve Bocock involved in this one. Oh, right down in front of Nick Trudeau. Trudeau, for the second caution, is going to be involved in this one. Once again, the rough start continues for that 89. Steve, I guess, just probably expected Thornton to go further up to the outside wall. And, well, Thornton was right there. But let's go to the 89 truck here, folks. Not the start that he wanted. Let's jump on the cockpit here. That 89 and Nick Trudeau. Just nothing you can do. Like I said, folks, this is a self-cleaning track. So that wreck, while it happened up against that outside wall, well, with that banking, you can see just how aggressive that banking is, and they were both rolling back down the track. Let's jump on the gyro cam real quick, and that'll give you a much better realization of just how much banking there is on the front and back stretch. Just nothing he could do. And Steve Bocock and Jimmy Emos making more contact down there into turn number 3 and 4. But for the second wreck in a row, Nick Trudeau, major playoff implications for the 89, who is currently sitting on pit road in that Black Rifle Coffee Company number 89. Came into tonight's race just 8 points above the cutoff line, and right now are the championship dreams of that 89 slipping out of his hands. Gonna get some of that damage fixed and get a rolling here as the field making their way back to the start-finish line, and the lights should be going off on the pace truck this time. And they are not. The field coming around to complete lap number 8 here under your second caution of the night, both of which including the 89 of Nicholas Trudeau. But out front, Tucker, Tulloch, Don Francisco, your top 3 running playoff drivers. Bolander in 8th, Babcock 11th, Ingram 15th, while Nicholas Trudeau is in 18th. The lights are off on that Chevy Silverado pace truck. This time the field going back side by side. Matt Tucker, the control truck on that outside line in the number 25. Frank Hughes Jr. on the inside in the 61. Payne to luck on that inside line of row number 2 with Alberto Abar on the outside. Don Francisco, row number 3, sharing it with David Chandler in the 1. And for the third time in 10 laps, the pace truck gonna hook the left onto pit lane, and we are gonna be racing once again here at Dover. Big tire spin by the 61. But they are gonna keep it rolling here this time through. Alberto Abar looking to the outside of Frank Hughes Jr. Here comes Don Francisco. The big move to the inside of Peyton to lock into 17. Here comes Don Francisco to 24. David Chandler a little slow on the exit of 4. Chandler's going to back out of it. Chandler maybe not happy with the way that 1 is feeling. Falling back big time in that number 1 Toyota Tundra. But out front, Matt Tucker pulling away here. Just over a half-second lead separates himself and the rest of the field. Don Francisco's got an absolute mirror-full of Andrew Bolander in the 8, who's got a mirror-full of Dylan Tibbetson at 45 behind him. You can see a majority of the field single file that time through. Your next side-by-side battle, Cedric Ingram to 19 under that first caution. Issues on that number 19 Chevy, but able to get that truck fired back up and get it rolling again, and now trying to make his way back up through the field. Right now, the biggest story, Nick Trudeau, just 7 points above the cutoff line coming into tonight's race. 8 points. Well, now he is having to work himself back up there right now in 17th position, looking underneath Steve Bocock into 12. Alberto Abar having a strong run tonight in that number 13. Started 4th, running 3rd. Fantastic start for that 13 Toyota, but they have both been running down your leader, Matt Tucker, who now just has a 0.3 second gap over himself and Frank Hughes Jr. with Alberto Abar right behind him. Someone hard in the outside wall coming out of 4. It was a white truck. I think it might have been Dustin Bloodworth in that 51, but I don't see a whole lot of damage to the right side, but a big puff of smoke that last time out of turn number 4. Cedric Ingram still trying to work himself up there, up to the 14th position, but now kind of stalling out a little bit behind J.D. Larson in at 18. Here at Dover, catching them is one thing, passing is a whole nother challenge. So these drivers passing, you're going to have to set that guy up in front of you as much as you can, no doubt about it. But here coming to complete lap 16 this time. Matt Tucker just under a half-second lead over Frank Hughes Jr. and the rest of the field, while Alberto Abar continues to put the pressure on the back of Frank Hughes Jr. with Paint to Luck right behind him in that 4th position. But the battle continues for 5th. Nicholas Don Francisco currently holding on to that position with Andrew Bolander just behind him in that number 8. Looking back off that 24. Looking back at Andrew Bolander all over the back bumper to 24. Big run down the backstretch. Nowhere to go with it heading into 3. Now they're going to possibly be side by side this time. Not quite going to get there for Bolander. On the roof cam of Andrew Bolander in that 8, right behind Don Francisco, your regular season champion in that number 24. His playoffs have not gone the way that 24 had probably hoped for, but hey, as long as you continue to make it to the next round, you can't be too upset about it. But right now, Andrew Bolander trying to run down that 24. Matt Tucker pulling out to a bigger lead here. 0.6 seconds, the gap between first and second, with Alberto Abar falling back in at 13. Back into the lap of the 17. Peyton Tulloch in a battle for that championship spot. Can he get up there? How aggressive does his teammate Alberto Abar race him? Nick Trudeau has worked himself past Steve Bocock and up into that 16th position. We're going to have to see, is he going to be able to get back up there and fight for a points paying position at the end of this stage? Remember, lap 90 will be your stage break tonight. Payne Tulloch to the inside of Alberto Abar. Terrible time for the camera to switch, but Abar going to back off. Oh, big slide. Third caution is out as well. Sean Walton involved in this one. As a big slide by Alberto Abar just across the nose of Nicholas Don Francisco. But Sean Walton involved in this one in that number 23. Gets loose right there. Tries to come back up, and Robert Babcock just happened to be right there. Let's back it up here and see what exactly we can see. Babcock on his outside of 23. Well, I don't think Babcock expected the 23 to try to arc it as much as he did. I think he expected the 23 to, start dropping down to make the corner little sooner than the 23 wanted to. But around is gonna go Sean Walton. But you got to remember, these drivers are going to be aggressive. Robert Babcock has got to get as many points as he can. He came into tonight's race just 25 points below the cutoff line. So these drivers are going to be as aggressive as they can. But right now, pit lane, the busiest place here in Dover. A beautiful shot of the trucks coming off pit lane. There goes Walton, who's just involved in that accident. Matt Tucker's going to get done with his service. Frank Hughes Jr. is going to get done with his as well. And Alberto Abar is just barely going to beat off Andrew Bolander to stay ahead of that 8. But, folks, we're going to step away for a quick break here. Don't go anywhere, because this race, well, it is just getting started here in Dover.
Let's make a deal, buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She need a fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at them legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Yeah, your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. I could look at you all day, watch the way them hips sway. Love your body, so I pray, don't you dare take it away. Can't control what I say, lost my mind cause your frame. Hey girl, what's your name? Lit me up just like a flame. Body in motion, I feel the commotion, beyond you like lotion. I'm honest and broken, I flow like the ocean. I feel you were chosen to fix me, I'm broken. My heart that you stolen, hey. Stay with me, play with me, lay with me. Hate to see when you leave, chemistry feels like it's destiny. I just want you laying next to me, and I really don't want you to test me. On your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Hold me close till I get up.
The lights are off on that Chevy iRacing Pace truck. The field side by side, and we are getting ready to go back racing this time. A new duo out front. Peyton Tulloch and Nicholas Don Francisco. Tulloch is your control truck in that 17, choosing the outside with Nicholas Don Francisco on the inside. Remember, in the NEXXTCAR Racing League, the leader gets to choose what lane he goes to. He is the only one that gets to choose whether he wants to start on the inside lane or the outside lane. But right now, already seeing some pit strategy playing out. Tulloch and Don Francisco, well, they stayed out under this caution while everybody else has come down pit road. The strategy, is it going to play out for them? Well, only time will tell. The pace truck back on pit lane. The field coming out of turn number 4, looking to enter the Geico restart zone, and we are going back racing here in Dover. Peyton Tulloch did not get a good launch. Here comes Don Francisco right back to the lead. Coming out of turn number 2. Crossover move attempt by the 17. Thought he was going to have a bigger run than he had, but here comes Frank Hughes Jr. in the 61. Remember, everybody besides the 17 and the 24 pitted. Here comes the 61 on those 4 fresh tires. Tulloch on that outside line is going to fall back. He's going to have to give up third. Can he get another crossover move out of 2? He cannot, but side by side out back from 10th on back. Sean Walton and Dustin Bloodworth side by side out of turn number 4, where it gets about as tight as these playoff standings. But these drivers right now doing a pretty good job of it. But out front, Frank Hughes Jr. on those 4 new Goodyear tires. He has retaken the lead in that number 61. Your pole sitter early on, looking fast. Frank Hughes Jr. just under a half-second lead right now over Nicholas Don Francisco. Peyton Tulloch in trouble in the 17. The 8 of Andrew Bolander working his way around the 17. Now, here comes Nick Trudeau in that 89 that looks like it's been through a shredder. Up into the outside wall out of 4. Now it's going to open up the door for the 3 and the 51. Peyton Tulloch is in trouble, but right now the 89 is in even more trouble. Falling back. Can he get back up there? Here comes Cedric Ingram in the 19. Big wiggle by the 1 of David Chandler right behind Trudeau, trying to push him down into the turn. Chandler's going to back off, but here comes Cedric Ingram right there. Trudeau has to lift. Trudeau fighting hard in that 89, but right now, nothing doing for that Chevy Silverado. Falling back even more. Here comes Dylan Tibbetts. Here comes J.D. Larson. If you're a fan of that number 89 of Nicholas Trudeau, this is not what you want to see. That 89 falling back through the field, already back into the 14th position. He restarted this caution inside the top 10. But out front, Matt Tucker's worked his way past Alberto Abar, past, Peyton Tulloch, and he has set sail into second. Don Francisco stayed out with Peyton Tulloch. He's fallen back into the 7th position. Now Bloodworth looking to take another position from the 24, and he will out of 4. Here comes Cedric Ingram in the 19. That passes for the 9th position. Now Peyton Tulloch came into tonight's race with the biggest, most comfortable lead above the cutoff line, just 17 points. But right now, that number 17 is struggling on those old tires. But honestly, I like the call. Stay out on old tires right now. Still a long way to go to the stage break, where points will be given out to your top 10 finishers in the stage. Save a set of tires for late in the race, because that is when Miles the Monster makes his presence known here at Dover. But Peyton Tulloch falling back even more, back to the 13th position as Dylan Tibbetts comes up and says, thank you very much. I'm going to get a little close to you, hand you a beer as I make my way past. And here comes Nick Trudeau. This is where you're going to find out who has got the most ill-handling car between the 89 and 17. They came into tonight's race first and second in the playoff standings. But right now, finding themselves running in the 13th and 14th position. But out front, Matt Tucker, just under a second behind your leader, Frank Hughes Jr., who undoubtedly right now looks to have the strongest truck on the track in that number 61 Toyota Tundra. Alberto Abar making his presence felt up front. That number 13 having a strong run. That strong run continues for that 13. Back up inside the top 5 in third with an absolute mirror full of Cole Larson, who's got a mirror full of Andrew Bolander behind him. Alberto misses the corner. That's going to open up the door for Cole Larson. That's going to get tight out of 4. Larson has to lift. Can Bolander take advantage? He cannot. Now here comes Cole Larson once again, looking through turns 1 and 2 to the inside of 13. Nothing given. Now that's going to get tight once again out of 2. Here comes Bolander this time. Larson continues to try to look for something, some kind of daylight underneath the 13. Who's going to get slides it out of 4? Big save by the 13 and 20. The 13 and 20, not in the playoffs, both eliminated in the first round. But Bolander, in the 8, fighting for a spot in the championship 4, has worked himself back up inside the top 5. He's up into 4th. The battle continues here down the backstretch. Bolander looking to get up inside the podium of the top 3. Meanwhile, right behind these guys, Austin Walton closing in the 3 with Dustin Bloodworth. A fantastic run for that 51. Right now, he is your biggest mover of the race, plus 12 in that number 51 up to 7th. Your second biggest mover, Austin Walton, right in front of him, plus 11. And then Cole Larson, plus 10. Frank Hughes Jr. out to a 1.3 second lead over Matt Tucker, your highest running 8 playoff drivers. Andrew Bolander has made the pass on Cole Larson for 3rd. Larson's going to fall back to 4th. Abar trying to battle back, but he's got a new mirror full of Austin Walton, who's got pressure from behind from Dustin Bloodworth into 51. Nick Trudeau in that 14th position, falling back a little more, but right behind him, Peyton Tulloch continues to drop, and the caution is out. Why do we not have our, hold on a second. Why do we not have... because it says my head. Oh, hello. There we go. All right, that should let us start hearing the race controller saying, "Oh, carnage coming onto pit road." J.D. Larson in the 18 has just been ran over by the 24, and it all stacked up in front of him. Dylan Tibbetts in front of him with Cedric Ingram. David Chandler just about spins Cedric Ingram onto pit road. Honestly, I didn't think pit road is where we would see a whole lot of action, but these drivers showing that I was mistaken. They come into pit road together, they leave together. The 19 and 1 cannot be separated. But I can tell you exactly who was on pit road. That 17 and the 24, both of which have come down, got 4 fresh Goodyear tires. The 24 having to get a little bit of damage fixed after that incident coming onto pit road. So a couple playoff drivers involved in the carnage coming onto pit road. But out front, Frank Hughes Jr., Cole Larson. Well, last caution, it was Peyton Tulloch and Nicholas San Francisco that didn't pit. Well, now you got Frank Hughes Jr. and Cole Larson that didn't pit. So a lot of strategy playing into tonight's race. But right now, the reason, we're going to talk about it, folks. The reason that Peyton Tulloch and Nicholas San Francisco did exactly what they did was they are going to gain a set of tires over the rest of the field. Everyone else besides Cole Larson and Frank Hughes Jr. all pitted under this last caution. Well, those guys are now onto their 3rd set of tires this race. Peyton Tulloch and Nicholas San Francisco, they just put on their 2nd set of tires. So when this race progresses and gets further in, those drivers are going to have an extra set of tires for the end of this race, if anything was to go down in the closing laps tonight. So definitely a huge strategy call. Absolutely no doubt about it. Let's, so there you go, folks. You can see it right there. Excuse me. You can see Nicholas San Francisco's bar all the way to the right. Peyton Tulloch's bar all the way to the right. Those guys did not pit. So you got Hughes all the way down to Thornton. They all pit on lap 23. That's where they changed their tires. Everybody else, you see San Francisco now just transferred over with Tulloch. They pit on lap 45. That is their only pit stop of the night, while everybody else all took tires on lap 23. So that has gained them a set of tires. So we're going to have to keep that in mind as this race progresses. How clutch does that pit strategy come in for that 24 and the 17? But out front is David Chandler almost just smacked the wall coming out of turn 2. But out front, the lights are off on that Chevy Silverado pace truck. We are getting ready to go back racing this time. Frank Hughes Jr., the control truck on that outside line. Cole Larson on the inside line. The last restart, the inside line had the better advantage heading into turn number 1 between San Francisco and Tulloch. Will that remain the same here on this restart? We are getting ready to go back racing here in Dover, and green flag is back out in the air.
Green flag.
And we got our race control now talking, so we are going to hear when the caution comes out and everything. So sorry about that. I hate when iRacing, quote-unquote, disconnects from the headset, but hey, we got to put that behind them, just like these drivers have got to put what happened already behind them, and they've got to go racing and do the best they can. But a battle for the lead. Here comes Andrew Pauly under 8. Here comes Matt Tucker in at 25. Where did the 8? Where did the 25 come from? Down the backstretch, side by side into 3. Side by side behind your front 3. Alberto Abar trying to work his way back up into 13. He's going to have a mirror full of Walton into 3. Now, here comes the 61 trying to fight back on that outside, but to no prevail on that 61. The 61 pushes up. 3 wide coming down to 4. That's not going to work. Barely's going to work. You cannot go 3 wide out of turn number 4 here at Dover International Speedway. But the NEXXTCAR Truck Series driver said, hold my beer. And they continue to run side by side out of 2. Dustin Bloodworth with a fantastic run to this point. 15 positions since the drop of the green flag. He's up into the 4th position in that 51. Nicholas Don Francisco trying to work his way back up. Just gets around Nick Trudeau in the 89. You can see the damage still on the 89 truck. Trying to put that behind him. Trying to work his way up. Cole Larson up into the outside wall out of 4. But Andrew Bolander out front. His teammate and co-championship contender battling first. Tucker just 0.4 seconds back. But here comes the 13 of Alberto Abar. Abar, at this point of the race, having his best race of the season. Beautiful shot of the trucks. Oh, up into the outside wall goes the 23. The field, for the most part out front, have got it figured out. Single file. A beautiful shot of the trucks coming down the backstretch. That was a beautiful camera shot. Now, at the start-finish line, coming to complete lap 57 that time. Stage break on lap 90. Still, a lot of racing till the stage break where your points will be handed out to your top 10 finishers in the stage. And these drivers know just how important those stage points are. Especially if your name is Trudeau, Don Francisco, Tucker, Duncan, and Bolander. But unfortunately, Jonathan Duncan unable to make tonight's race in that number 88. He came into tonight's race 5 points below the cutoff line. Well, unfortunately, Jonathan Duncan will not be making it to the championship 4 after missing tonight's race. But out front, the battle continues. Just over half a second between Andrew Bolander and Matt Tucker. Alberto Abar and Dustin Bloodworth bumper to bumper for third. This does not surprise me, folks. I talked to them before the race. I jumped into their team chat, and they said, Ron, we have figured something out. We are going to be bad fast tonight. And right now, that 13 and 51, I would say, have got it figured out pretty good. But here comes the one of David Chandler. He's working his way back up there, back up inside the top 5. He's up into 5th. David Chandler, remember, fell back at the beginning of this race. Maybe didn't like the position he was in, but now finding himself up inside the top 5. 27 laps to go to the end of the stage this time. Bloodworth all over the back bumper of Alberto Abar. Now to the inside. That's going to open up the door for David Chandler. Side by side, the 51's going to push up, but it keeps it out of the side of the 13. That's going to get tight out of 4. They're going to keep it rolling. Now, David Chandler stays to the outside. Looking through the middle, not going to be able to do anything with it. Bloodworth's going to clear Abar. But here comes Abar fighting back to the outside of Chandler. Into the wall goes the 13. Right in the hornet's nest is that 89 of Nick Trudeau, who cannot afford another incident in that number 89. Involved in the first 2 accidents of the night. But right now, looking to try to put that behind him. Oh! And the round's going to go Robert Babcock right in front of him. Your caution is going to possibly more than likely come out in this one. And there it is. Big crash for the 34 of Robert Babcock, who came into tonight's race 25 points below the cutoff line in a almost must-win situation. Coming out of turn number 4, just loses it right in front of Nick Trudeau and Nicholas Don Francisco. Gets up into the outside wall, tries to keep it rolling, and instead of coming back up across the track, gets it down into the inside wall. Got to pay respect to Robert Babcock for that one. He could easily came back up across the track and up in front of traffic, but instead kept it down there and nosed it into the outside wall. Not taking anybody else out with him, but caution is out once again in the 34. Babcock's going to keep it rolling. But we are under caution for the 5th time tonight. But folks, we're going to step away here for a quick intermission. Don't go anywhere because it's been a pretty exciting race up to this point. I would hate for you to miss anything else. All right, folks, welcome back here to the NEXXTCAR Racing League here at Dover International Speedway for your cutoff race here of round number 2, where we will find out who is going to battle for the championship trophy next week at Homestead, Miami. Well, these drivers still got a lot of racing left here in this one as we are closing in on the stage break tonight on lap 90. These drivers had 175 miles of pure challenging racing ahead of them tonight. But right now, It has been handed to Andrew Bolander, and Matt Tucker as the pace truck is going to hook that hard left back onto pit lane. And we are going racing here with 20 laps to go in the stage. Green flags back out here at Dover. Big stack up in the back half of the field. A big stack up forced everyone to back up behind him. But here comes the 51 of Bloodworth. Matt Tucker all over the back bumper. The 8. Bloodworth all over the back of the 25. Gives him a shot into 3. Cedric Ingram, big battle right now between himself and that 89. But a battle for the lead. Tucker to the inside of the 8 of Andrew Bolander. He's going to keep it down low. Here comes Bloodworth. Where does he go? That's going to get tight. Tucker's going to back out of it. Did not want to be side by side on the exit of 4. I don't blame him one bit, because that is the worst place to be side by side heading into 1. Now bumper to bumper through turns 1 and 2. Dustin Bloodworth right behind these guys. Up into the wall goes Walton into 3. He's going to keep going straight. Alberto Ibarra into the wall as well. That's going to open up the door for the 89 and Nick Trudeau. He's going to take advantage, and that's going to open up the door now for the 61 to follow suit. That 13 truck falling back as Peyton Tulloch's going to make the move to the inside, and he's going to pass him out of 4. Now, here comes Cedric Ingram. He's down to the inside of the 13. The 13 of Alberto Ibar falling back big time here, closing in on stage break. But out front, Bolander has held off Matt Tucker. Tucker now 0.3 back, but an absolute hornet's nest behind your front 3 runners. Bloodworth has a beer full of 61. Here comes Tulloch. But big move by the 61. He's going to get loose out of 2, but a big save. Now drives it in underneath the 51. Here comes Tulloch. They're both going to clear Bloodworth. Walton, Trudeau, back up into the outside wall out of 4. Tulloch all over the back bumper of the 61. It's going to get him a little loose out of 2 that time. Now looking to the outside. Tucker now has just went from battling for the lead to battling to keep that 25 truck alive, almost up into the outside wall coming out of 4. He's now going to fall back to 4th as he's going to see everyone around him sail by. Peyton Tulloch, Frank Hughes Jr. pitted on lap 67. Now, Bolander had a 0.7 second lead over Tucker, but has seen new competitor come to the front. Frank Hughes Jr. regains his position at the front. Here comes Tulloch battling back. Frank Hughes Jr. retakes his ground out front, retakes back what he had earlier, and now looking to hold off a hard-charging Peyton Tulloch into 17. Steve Bocock in a big battle. Don Francisco smoke out front, but everyone's going to keep her rolling straight. 10 laps to go in the stage this time. Frank Hughes Jr. holding on to the lead right now. Peyton Tulloch just behind him in second. 0.3 the gap. Robert Babcock, remember, he was just involved in that accident not too long ago in that 34. But now he has worked himself back up towards the front. Here comes Cole Larson. He's worked himself up as well. Andrew Bolander, Matt Tucker falling back. Tucker in trouble in the 25. Dustin Bloodworth to his outside. Here comes Trudeau. 3 wide almost. Chandler's going to make contact. They all keep it going straight. Tucker barely clear the 89 to slide up in front of him. That is not going to make the 89 of Nick Trudeau happy. Here comes Chandler right back at him. Trudeau back up into the outside wall out of 2. Tucker had to do some evasive action there to miss him. But right now, Trudeau falling back to the 9th position. Steve Bocock trying to work his way up there. He's in the 11th position, just outside the top 10 with 6 laps to go in the stage. Now he's going to throw it underneath the 3. He's going to clear Austin Walton out of 2. Meanwhile, out front, Frank Hughes Jr. Oh, big contact with Babcock. He's going to go around for the second time out of turn number 4. Caution. It's going to be out for the second time for that 34 and immediately towing to the pit lane. Major implications for the 34, who is now almost pretty much solidifies his must-win situation, and the 34 is now out of the race in the 34. Just loses it, pushes up into the outside wall out of 4, and right around she goes for the second time, hard into that pit lane wall this time. Robert Babcock, his playoff championship hopes are going to come to an end here at Dover, as he is not going to continue on in this one. But folks, that is not going to be your stage break. We should see these drivers go back racing with a 1-lap shootout for the stage. If I am not mistaken, this is not your stage break, because I'm pretty sure if it was, you would see a lot more drivers on pit lane. But Frank Hughes Jr. trying to follow suit of what David Chandler did last week at Auto Club. David Chandler had the best truck all night long. Well, now, can Frank Hughes Jr., who's coming to pit road? Never mind. I think the only one he probably faked out in that one was me. But but Frank Hughes Jr. looking to pick up where David Chandler left off last week, and non-playoff drivers spoiling the party for the playoff guys. The stage will end at the completion of lap 90, which means this time by, folks, the lights are going to go off on that pace truck. And we will have a 1-lap shootout to settle the stage. How aggressive is that 17 going to get? How aggressive is the 8 and 25 going to get? The 25 came into tonight's race just 5 points above Jonathan Duncan in 5th. Andrew Bolander 7 points below Matt Tucker. So how aggressive are those two drivers going to get? Tuck has got to get points to keep his advantage. Bolander's got to get points to close that gap. While some of the other guys struggling right now, Trudeau back in 14th, he is on the verge of missing out on some crucial stage points. He came into tonight's race just 8 points above the cutoff line. Well, now, with these points that he could possibly miss out on at the end of this stage, boy, these points are gonna get flopped here tonight. But out front, the lights are off on that Chevy Silverado pace truck, and we are going a one-lap shootout racing to end the stage here at Dover, folks. Points, crucial points on the line. What could possibly go wrong? Paint to Luck, your current points leader. How aggressive does he get? The winner of the stage gets 10 bonus points. And then it trickles on down to the 10th place finisher, minus a point for each position. We are going to have ourselves a one-lap shootout to settle the stage here in Dover, folks. It does not get much better than this. We are getting ready to have ourselves maybe the craziest one lap of the race. Green flag back out here in Dover. The field fanning out. To Luck did not get a good launch. Bolander takes full advantage of it in the 8. He's up to second. Here comes Tucker into 25. Here comes Larson on the outside. Bocark up into the outside wall. Frank Hughes Jr. through 3 and 4 for the final time. He is going to get the stage win here at Dover, but Matt Tucker going to fall back. Paint to Luck falls back to third. Caution is out. That is your stage, folks. Hughes, Bolander, to Luck, Cole Larson, Tucker, Bocock, Don Francisco, Walton, Thornton, and Abar. Your top 10. Your playoff drivers, Trudeau, missing out on stage points. Ingram missing out on stage points. And then obviously Robert Babcock not out on the track anymore. But Frank Hughes Jr. in the 61, well, he got the pull, and he is your stage winner. As soon as his pit stop is done, I don't want to interfere with any team communication that might be happening right now. So as soon as his pit stop is done, we are going to interview your, your pole sitter, and then he has turned that pole sitter position into the stage win. Great look of all the trucks coming down pit lane here at the end of stage. Well, folks, that was only half the race. We have got a lot more ahead of us here tonight, and there is no doubt about it. These drivers were up for the challenge, and maybe none more than the 61. What do you say now we try to dial up your stage winner? Frank Hughes Jr. trotting in the booth. You got me, buddy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, man. Well, I talked to you before the race. You grabbed the pole. Now the stage win. What's it going to take here in this second half to get the trifecta?
Just to be smooth here and consistent like I've been, and not overdrive the truck at all. And
how's the track feel tonight?
After maybe about 10, 15 laps, you start to get tight. But I mean, you could use a throttle to adjust that pretty much how you want to angle the truck in the corner.
Sounds like you got your plan, brother. Can you do what David Chandler did last week and play spoiler for the playoff drivers? Best of luck through the rest of this race.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, there you have it. Your pole sitter, and now a stage winner in the NEXXTCAR Truck Series, Frank Hughes Jr. Frank Hughes Jr. in that 61 truck. Can he do what David Chandler opened up the door for the non-playoff drivers last week? Get up there, steal a win, make these playoff drivers earn it in points in both race. Or will one of these playoff drivers step up to the plate? But out front, David Chandler in the 1. Can he pick up where he left off last week? Can he get that number 1 to victory lane here for the second week in a row? Well, if only it was that easy, folks. These drivers got a lot of racing ahead of them. A lot of action. These drivers, this race is far from over. But the lights are off on that Chevy Silverado pace truck. The stage is over. The points have been handed out. These drivers are going for that checkered flag now. Cedric Ingram has flipped the field in that 19. Now up into that 4th position. Nick Trudeau right behind him in the 89. How aggressive do those drivers get? This is the farthest up the field they have been all night long, being Ingram and Trudeau. How aggressive do they get? How aggressive does Andrew Bolander in 9th get? Payne Tullock in 11th. Matt Tucker in 13th. Don Francisco in 14th. So all 4 of those guys all on top of each other, bumper to bumper, side by side. Well, folks, we are getting ready to find out who will be battling for your championship trophy next week at Homestead, Miami, Florida. We are halfway through the race here in Dover, and we still got a long way to go. But we are green flag here once again at Dover, and a great launch by the one of David Chandler. David Chandler already over to a half-second lead over Bloodworth. But here comes Dustin Bloodworth. Here comes J.D. Larson. Oh, carnage! Dylan Tibbetts on the front stretch. He's going to keep the 45 rolling. We stay green. But the number 45 Hot Wheels Toyota Tundra had a very solid run going. Now the caution's going to fly for the 8th time tonight. The bumper barely hanging on that 45. Let's back it up and see what exactly happened to Dylan Tibbetts coming out of turn number 4. Oh, Peyton in front of him. Looks like Peyton maybe got a little loose there coming out of 4. That'll happen on these 4 fresh tires here. Just loses it all by himself. Saves it. Keeps it out of the wall. But Dylan Tibbetts was not as lucky. Let's jump inside the cockpit, and right around she goes. Had the wheel turned hard right, but just nowhere besides that pit lane wall to go into. But folks, the lights are back on that Chevy Silverado pace truck as the field is starting lap 99 this time. But folks, we're going to step away here for a quick break. Don't go anywhere, because this race has had a lot of action, and there is a lot of action yet to come. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now. I made mistakes, but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone. That's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone.
Folks, we were getting ready to go back racing this time, but you saw what just happened down the backstretch involving a couple of your playoff drivers. What just happened down the backstretch? Alberto Eibar in the 13. It all stacks up in front of these guys. What just happened? Something up front stacked up the drivers. Right there. Man. But Peyton Tillock goes around in that number 17, but the lights are back off on that Chevy Silverado pace truck. Let's try it again this time. "100 laps completed," coming to complete lap 101 this time. The pace truck back on pit lane, and we are getting ready to go back racing this time. Green flag back in the air. The one to David Chandler gets a great launch of 51, spins his tires, almost opens up the door for JD Larson to look underneath them, but the 19 also stacks up that outside wall as well. Cedric Ingram, the 19, falling back. David Chandler already out to a 0.6 second lead over your second place of Dustin Bloodworth, who continues his fantastic run into 59. Cedric Ingram to the outside of JD Larson, who got loose out of 2. Now JD Larson's going to push up. That's going to force Nick Trudeau up the track. He's going to keep it going straight. Well, folks, are you thinking what I'm thinking? With the field stacked up like this, there is no better time in Dover for some NEXXTCAR It Up action here around this 1 mile track of Dover International Speedway. Let's turn the volume up on these trucks and let's NEXXTCAR It Up. Nicholas Trudeau in the 89 has worked himself up into that second position as Dustin Bloodworth has taken over the lead here of the race at Dover International Speedway. Don't worry about that caution. We are not under caution, and we have 112 out of 175 laps completed here tonight with the new sheriff in town, Dustin Bloodworth, out front in that 51. He has slowly but surely been working that 51 truck back up towards the front. I talked to him pre-race. He felt extremely comfortable about that 51. Him and Alberto Abar had worked together a lot in the pre-race to get their truck set up. And right now, through the first half of the race, both trucks were on absolute rails. But now, as Alberto has kind of slowly started falling back, that 51 of Dustin Bloodworth has come to life. Abar in a battle with his teammate Peyton Tullock. Tullock on the inside, Abar on the outside here coming out of turn number 4. That's going to get tight. Abar up into the wall. One second separates the gap between Bloodworth and Trudeau. That is your battle for the lead here at Dover. Chandler, he led the couple of laps there after the stage, but now has fallen back to third. Cedric Ingram, we talked about him in pre-race, folks. When that 19 truck needs it most, Cedric Ingram clutches up his performance. And around, it's going to go Cole Larson into 20. Oh, J.D. Larson, his father, is going to plow into him. Carnage for the Larsons in 3 and 4. Well, that's going to be an eventful Thanksgiving dinner this week. Let's back it up and see what exactly happened. Frank Hughes Jr. was there. Oh, JD loses it down below. I'm not exactly sure what happened to JD down there. But Frank Hughes was underneath them, had just barely had a nose. Larson came down, was clear, and then the 61 just did not back off. But what happened to JD here? I'm confused on, oh, he gets ran over by the 3. Yep, right there. He checks up and the 3 does not. And just goes up and hits his son. Well, both the 20 and the 18 on pit road now getting their damage fixed. But, folks, we are under caution for the 9th time tonight. And out front, David Chandler comes out of pit road with the lead. Dustin Bloodworth in second. Nick Trudeau in third. Let's do a quick recap of your playoff drivers here in this one. Right now, your highest running playoff driver, Nick Trudeau, in that number 89 from Charlton, Massachusetts. He came into tonight's race just 8 points above the cutoff line. Right now, doing exactly what he needs to do in that third position. Had himself a solid run so far to this point. He was involved in those 2 accidents early on, but able to put that behind him. And right now, inside the top 5. Cedric Ingram right behind him in that 19 in the 4th position. Cedric Ingram, can he quietly work his way into the championship 4 battle? It's going to be a heck of a race to see throughout the remaining laps. If he can get that 19 in a position to maybe head to victory lane and get himself into the playoffs. Coming into tonight's race, 20 points below the cutoff line. So he's got his work cut out for him. There is no doubt about it, but he has got a strong truck tonight. Andrew Bolander in the number 8. He came into tonight's race 7 points below Matt Tucker, below the cutoff line. Well, now, Andrew Bolander in that 6th position. Got some good stage points, but unfortunately for that 8, so did the 25 of Tucker. So he has done exactly what he's needed to do to help his case to get into the playoff or the championship 4. Can he continue that strong run here with the guy behind him, Matt Tucker, coming into tonight's race in 4th in the standings, just above the cutoff line by 5 points. He's done exactly what he's needed to do as well. Came away with some good stage points. Well, now, can he continue that run? All the way back into the 14th positions, Nicholas Don Francisco from Stanton, Virginia. He came into tonight's race just 7 points above the cutoff line. So your regular season champion not securely locked into the championship 4. Well, he missed out on some stage points, and now he is going to have to work his way up to the front. Not going to be an easy task at all. And then last is going to be Peyton Tulloch from Greenville, Tennessee. Came into tonight's race 17 points above the cutoff line. So he had the most comfortable run tonight out of all the playoff drivers. But that does not mean anything to Miles the Monster tonight. But out front, David Chandler. Can he continue the strong run that he's had these last 2 weeks here in round 2? Last week at Auto Club, took that number 1 to victory lane. But tonight, will it be Dustin Bloodworth or one of these other non-playoff drivers spoiling the party? Or can it be a playoff driver that's able to get themselves locked into the playoffs and not have to worry about points? Well, right now, David Chandler's leading the field back into the Geico restart zone. We are back racing here at Dover with 55 laps to go here in the race. He gets out to a great launch. Dustin Bloodworth did not. Stacked up that inside line a little bit. Cedric Ingram, he got a terrible restart as well. He's back into the 4th position. But Nick Trudeau jumping up immediately in front of him. He's into 3rd. Here comes Bo Lander trying to power his way to the outside. No! Bocock's going to get turned by the 24. And then Peyton Tulloch's going to get involved as well. Damage to the 17. Major damage to Emos in the 38. Steve Bocock. Big damage to him as well in the 12. 2 of your playoff drivers involved in this one. The 24 Don Francisco and the 17 of Tulloch. Steve's going to get loose. Comes down into Dylan Tibbetts. And right around he goes right in front of 2 of the playoff drivers. Not the run that these 2 needed. This is what Peyton saw out of the right side of his windshield. Just could not get the 17 slowed up, and then up into the outside wall he goes. That 17 is coming down to pit road this time. But folks, we're going to step away for a quick break. Don't go anywhere, because this race is just getting started here as we are closing in on the closing laps of Dover International Speedway. Who is going to move on to your championship 4?
see what's above. I wanna see what's below. Just tell me where you wanna go. You can name the place, yeah, you can name the time. We can leave it.
The NEXXTCAR Truck Series drivers side by side behind a pace truck with the lights off. We are going back racing this time. David Chandler out front behind that pace truck through 3 and 4. The pace truck back onto pit lane. We are gonna be back racing here at Dover International Speedway. Green flag back out. David Chandler with another great launch. Nick Trudeau stuck behind Bloodworth into 51. Ingram on the outside. He's going to fall back, but they're going to be side by side for third out of 2. Trudeau able to clear Cedric Ingram down the backstretch heading into turn number 3. Ingram's going to slip up a little bit, but again, he's going to keep that number 19 down on the bottom. Not going to open up the door for the 23, but here comes Walton down the front stretch. Nowhere to go with the run. Side by side is Tucker and Thomas. How about Christopher Thomas in the 5, folks? Oh, and he's going to turn to 25. Keeps it going straight, but that's going to cost that 25 a couple positions, maybe more. The 25 of Matt Tucker keeps it going straight after contact with Christopher Thomas. Gotta wonder, was there contact between Tucker and Thomas early on in the race? That is what put Thomas 3 laps down at one point. But a big save by the 25 nonetheless. And here comes Don Francisco running with Alberto Eibar. You got to remember the history between these two drivers. It is not a good one. The regular season reached its peak on the first lap at Indianapolis in round number 1. Well, now they're racing clean side by side, but you cannot forget about their history. Here comes Cole Larson trying to work his way back up. But out front, David Chandler having to hold off Dustin Bloodworth and a hungry Nick Trudeau behind him. But here comes Bolander and Walton side by side in through turns 1 and 2. Walton's going to be slow out of 2. That's going to stack up Christopher Thomas, who's going to shove him down the backstretch into 3. Nicholas Don Francisco, Alberto Eibar continue to run side by side. Don Francisco onto the apron. That's going to open up the door for Larson, but he does not force it. Now he will, heading into 3. Nick Trudeau all over the back bumper of the 51. David Chandler out to a 1.3 second lead over Trudeau and Bloodworth, who are side by side for second down the front stretch this time, heading into turn number 1. And side by side behind them as they get it figured out, Andrew Bolander and Cedric Ingram. Ingram not backing down, but here comes Bolander in the 8. Your retirements of the night, Thornton and Robert Babcock. That is going to put an end to Robert Babcock's bid for the championship trophy this season here in Season 4. He's going to have to pick it back up in Season 5 if he wants to get a championship trophy. But folks, 35 laps to go here at Dover. David Chandler pulling away. Dustin Bloodworth falling back into 51. Nick Trudeau. Let's talk about his playoff run. In round number 1, got the win at Indianapolis, running down Jonathan Duncan. And the closing laps there, made the pass with 4 laps to go. Now, in almost a similar situation, he's in second. But now, can he run down David Chandler in first? Andrew Bolander, he's worked his way up into the 3rd position now. Cedric Ingram, he's back into 4th, but still a solid run for that number 19. Just like his run at Charlotte, just like his run at Michigan that got him into the playoffs. Can he continue to clutch it up here in Dover? But behind him, Dustin Bloodworth. Christopher Thomas almost making contact there out of 4. That's going to open up the door for Frank Hughes Jr., your pole sitter and stage winner in the 61. Paint to luck has not had the race that he needed in that 17 truck. Came into tonight's race 17 points above the cutoff line. Well, tonight he has had to use every single one of those cushion points that he had. Right now, running around the 14th position, this race is anything but what he wanted. Matt Tucker slowly but surely trying to work his way back up in that 25, up into the 8th position. 6 seconds behind your leader. Dustin Bloodworth, he's got right in front of him in a struggling number 51 right now. Here comes Nicholas Don Francisco on the inside of Sean Walton. Don Francisco came into tonight's race 7 points above the cutoff line. He has had a very solid run to this point, missed out on stage points, but looking to put that behind him with a solid run inside the top 10. But right now, Trudeau slowly, each lap, running down your leader, David Chandler. Slowly but surely, running him down just a little bit every time. We talked about it just now at Charlotte. Or I'm sorry, not at Charlotte, at Indy. But now, Chandler pulling back away just under a second and a half. Sean Walton and Alberto Abar continue their big battle here, bumper to bumper. With right behind them is Peyton Tulloch, who has worked his way up into the 12th position. So that number 17 here in the closing laps here at Dover, starting to maybe come alive in that 17. Now, oh, big move. Big block by the 23. Payne Tulloch's going to get on the inside. The 23's got to push up almost into the outside wall, but a big block by the 23 down the backstretch. That forced his hand to have to make Peyton have to back off and try to set him up here into 3, and he did just that. Now, looking to set his sights on his teammate Alberto Abar in 10th. A-Bar's getting loose. Bocock getting wicked loose out of 4. Bocock back into the outside wall out of 2. But David Chandler out front with 25 laps to go here at Dover. His playoff run ended at the end of round number 1. But he has not let that slow him down here in round number 2. He won last week at Auto Club. Can he start round number 2? Or I'm sorry, can he sweep round number 2? We only have 2 races here in round number 2 for the NEXXTCAR playoffs. Can he win them both? Still a long way to go with 24 laps to go here in this one. But Trudeau falling back 1.9 seconds to gap. Bolander right behind Trudeau. And then 2 seconds back is Cedric Ingram. Here comes Christopher Thomas. Thomas, 3 laps down at one point. But now, trying to work his way back up towards the front. He has had a solid rebound in that 5. Dustin Bloodworth has fallen all the way back to that 7th position. Still a solid run for him, but definitely not the way. If we get a late race caution and this race turns into a short run, well, that 51 truck might have the best short run truck on this track. So if we get a late race caution, don't you dare count out that 51. Twenty 21 laps to go this time, folks. 21 to go here in Dover. David Chandler coming through 3 and 4. 20 laps to go. 20 laps, 20 miles to settle it all here in Dover, and we will find out who is going to battle for the championship trophy next week. But still, a long way to go. A lot of racing ahead of these drivers. Trudeau, your highest running playoff driver right now in 2nd. Bolander in 3rd. Christopher Thomas has worked his way past Cedric Ingram, who has fallen back to 5th. Then you got to go all the way back to 8th to find Matt Tucker. And then 9th is Nicholas San Francisco with 10th, Peyton Tulloch. And then that is your playoff field, as Robert Babcock has retired from this race and Jonathan Duncan unable to make it. So Peyton Tulloch is the last running playoff driver right now in that 10th position on the track. 2 seconds, the gap between Chandler and Trudeau. Bolander closing up on the back bumper of Trudeau. Your top 5 all last pitted on lap 117. Frank Hughes Jr. pit on lap 123. Nicholas San Francisco, he's in a big battle right now. He's going to clear Matt Tucker. Tucker last pit on lap 117. Don Francisco, Peyton Tulloch, all lap 124. The tires really starting to fall off now for these drivers. Peyton Tulloch all over the back bumper of Matt Tucker through turns 1 and 2 this time. 15 laps to go for the one of David Chandler. Trudeau has cut the lead. Back down to just 1.7. Barely clears Tulloch on Tucker. That was tight out of 2 that last time. I'm sorry, out of 4. Now with 14 laps to go, Tulloch has worked his way past Tucker. He's up into 9th. Don Francisco just in front of him. Now, how aggressive does the 17 get? The 51 of Dustin Bloodworth. He's a teammate to that 17. How aggressive does Bloodworth get with the 24? Bloodworth goes to the outside. That's going to allow Don Francisco underneath them. Oh, that's going to get tight to 51 coming back down the track to keep it out of the outside wall. Now here comes Tulloch underneath them. The 51 of Dustin Bloodworth. The 17 not quite clear out of 2. Bloodworth fighting back on the outside. That's going to allow Don Francisco to pull away a little bit. But out front, Trudeau gets the gap down to 1.6 this time. Don Francisco really loose out of 4. Abar on pit road into 13. Is that going to start your pit cycle with 11 to go? The lead back up to 1.9, coming to 10 to go this time for the number 1 of David Chandler. Bolander getting closer each lap to the back of Trudeau. Does he have enough time? Tulloch has worked his way back past Bloodworth. Now up into 8th, just behind Nicholas Don Francisco. All over his back bumper, looking to the outside, looking to get the big run out of turn number 2 this time. Abar still sitting on pit road into 13. Side by side, this is for 7th. Don Francisco and Tulloch. Tulloch inside. Don Francisco up into the outside wall. That's going to help that 17, but here comes the 51 of Bloodworth coming back at him. Tucker still stuck behind Bloodworth in the 10th position. And in the meanwhile, here comes Austin Walton to join the battle. Is Tucker going to fall outside the top 10? Here comes Walton underneath them. Tucker into the outside wall. 7 to go. These points crucial. Tucker throws it underneath Walton. Just as I was getting ready to say, these positions, these points, as crucial now as ever. Tucker came into tonight's race just 5 points above the cutoff line. Well, guess what? With Bolander in 3rd, Tucker's in 11th. There's your 5-point difference. 6 laps to go, 5 to go this time for David Chandler as he's working his way through turns 3 and 4. 5 laps, 5 miles. The gap, 2 seconds back to Bolander. I'm sorry, back to Trudeau. Bolander has fallen off the back bumper of Trudeau. Lap traffic not playing kind to that number 8. Tulloch up into 7th. Ingram still holding strong in 5th. Alberto Abar off of pit road into 13. Cedric Ingram, you gotta wonder, it was enough at Charlotte. It was enough at Michigan. Will it be enough tonight? Can he come away with a 3rd clutch top 5 and a crucial turning point of the season? This is the final race of the round of 2 of the NEXXTCAR Truck Series playoffs. And with 3 laps to go, the gap, 1.9 seconds. Chandler, not a playoff driver, but looking to play devil's advocate for the 2nd week in a row. He did it last week at Auto Club. Can he back it up with another strong run tonight at Dover? 2 laps to go. Out of turn number 2. He clears the lap traffic behind him. Now, as David Chandler is going to come out of turn 4, he is going to see the white flag in the air here at Dover. 1 lap to go. Presented by HVAC Designs here in the NEXXTCAR Truck Series cutoff race at Dover. Last week, David Chandler had never been to victory lane. But this week, coming through 3 and 4 for the final time, the number 1 of David Chandler is going to go back-to-back trips to victory lane. He is going to sweep the round 2 of the playoffs. David Chandler is a 2-time NEXXTCAR Truck Series winner. David Chandler eliminated from the playoffs in the first round. Did not let that slow him down. Last week at Auto Club, it was redemption. This week is pure joy in that number 1. Taking the greatest drive in NEXXTCAR, the victory lap to the front stretch to go celebrate with his friends. Sorry, that was a hard word there. Holy crap. I've never struggled that much to say friends. But David Chandler with the convoy out of turn number 4, heading down the front stretch to burn it down here at Dover. Beautiful sight of both those drivers sitting there at the start-finish line. Soaking it all in is the number 1 of David Chandler. 2 weeks in a row, he is now a 2-time winner here in the NEXXTCAR Truck Series. Did he run that truck out of gas? As he is going to be trying to get pushed from the 61 of Frank Hughes Jr., your pole sitter and stage winner. While they try to figure it out, folks, let's go ahead and let's get your race results up from a wild race here at Dover. David Chandler first, Nicholas Trudeau in second, Andrew Bolander in third, Christopher Thomas in fourth with Cedric Ingram in fifth. Is it going to be enough? A very strong run from the 19, but we will find out shortly if it was enough to get to the championship 4. Frank Hughes Jr. in 6th, Paint to Luck rounding up into 7th, Nicholas Don Francisco in 8th with Austin Walton 9th, Matt Tucker 10th, Dustin Bloodworth in 11th, Sean Walton in 12th, Cole Larson in 13th, Steve Bocock 14th, Dylan Tibbetts in 15th, JD Larson in 16th, Alberto Abar in 17th, Jimmy Emos in 18th, with Chuck Thornton 19th, and Robert Babcock officially being eliminated from the playoff contention in 20th. Well, folks, don't go anywhere because we are going to have your post-race interviews coming up here from Dover shortly. It might be a little... like a couple minutes over, we are going to find out who is your championship 4. So we're going to have to wait to do your post-race interviews until that is announced. So folks, don't go anywhere. Please be patient and we will be right back.
Yeah, let's go. I don't care what they all say. That's right. I'ma do this thing my way. Let's go. Been grinding hard on it all day. Okay. We work hard, then we all play. Yeah. I'm addicted to the grind, man. That's right. So I refuse to waste time, man. Yeah. One day it all will be fine, man. Let's go. Gotta gotta commit to the climb. You know we're back with the Guinness, setting records every minute, every track, in addiction to the fact that we're winning. Still we lack, something's missing, need a track that is hitting, making racks, making millions. If you ask, that's a mission. I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah, sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable. Yeah, ready to go, man, lock and load. That's right, I swear to God that I could drop you, bro. Yeah, I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the ninth inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here I'm screaming. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. Looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me. Swear to God, man, I'ma make it soon. Silence all the haters as they see us making moves. I do what I want, so I got nothing to prove. Staying motivated, teaching others what to do. I'm staying focused, my mind is open. They start to notice that I'm in motion. There is no potion, you're not just chosen. It takes devotion to stay composed, man. Never stop, there ain't no time to fall. Try to live, get it all, you got one life to ball. Thinking big, never small, cause you gotta want it all. When you finally get that call, you get ready, take it all. Need a hand out, I already stand out. Starting to advance now, ready to expand now. You don't have a chance now, cause we're in demand now. Make it by the grand now, feeling in command now. They're looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now. numb. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Girl, you got me shook from the way your body looks. Got me riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what your mama took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She need a fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at them legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Yeah, your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. I could look at you all day, watch the way them hips sway. Love your body, so I pray, don't you dare take it away. Can't control what I say, lost my mind cause your frame. Hey girl, what's your name? Lit me up just like a flame. Body in motion, I feel the commotion, beyond you like lotion. I'm honest and broken, I flow like the ocean. I feel you were chosen to fix me, I'm broken. My heart that you stolen, hey. Stay with me, play with me, lay with me. Hate to see when you leave, chemistry feels like it's destiny. I just want you laying next to me, and I really don't want you to ever leave. On your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off as friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright.
All right, folks, welcome back here to a wild post-race interview from Dover International Speedway. We're going to kick things off with interviewing your winner 2 weeks in a row, sweeping round number 2 of the playoffs. A non-playoff driver, but didn't let him slow him down this round. David Chandler, for the second time, you are a NEXXTCAR Truck Series winner.
Let's go, man. It feels so good, and I'm so happy to do it at a track that I am infamously bad at. Dover, man, Monster of the Mile, he doesn't like me, man, but we managed to come away with the win after, getting into it with Dustin there for a minute. We managed to bounce back, and, man, I'm stoked. I had some really cool guys when I came around to lap the backpack. They were moving up for me and letting me and Nick have our race, and yeah, dude, it feels good. It feels so good. I wish I was in the playoffs though.
Oh, absolutely, man. But leading 76 laps, the most laps led tonight, just like last week at Auto Club, you had that number 1 was on rails tonight. But, what was it like? Obviously you mentioned, you weren't able to advance into the playoffs, but what was it like coming into the round number 2? Was it all about redemption, or what was your thought process coming into this round?
Well, coming into I went in this round particularly with the round that I had gotten knocked out of. We were really hoping to make it into the round of 8, and when we didn't, we were just like, we're just gonna set our sights on wins, and if not wins, top 3s and 5s, just to give us some momentum going into next season. Really raise our confidence level, so that way we can, show everyone that we can go out there and win. We got to put it all, on the line and put it all together. I've been getting a lot of help from multiple guys helping me out, try to figure things out, whether it be Chris, my boy Chuck, and even some of the Hugheses. And it's coming together. It's been tough road to get better. I haven't been racing for very long. I've only been doing this for like a year and a half or 2 years now, so I'm very new to racing in general. Other than watching it on TV, so yeah, I'm just stoked that it's finally coming together, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, congrats on your trip to Victory Lane for the second time this season.
Hey, I appreciate it. I want to give a big shout out to Nick. I know he was reeling me in there, and me and him were kind of having a fuel saving battle there at the end, so that was real cool. And congratulations to all the guys that made it to the Final Four. I'll stay out your way for that race. Y'all can race it out for yourselves.
Yes, sir. Let's meet who is going to battle for that NEXXTCAR Truck Series Championship trophy next week at Homestead, Miami. Well, Peyton Tulloch, you are leading the way. Came away with the 7th place finish tonight, but with that 17-point gap that you had coming into tonight's race, it was enough to advance.
Hell yeah, Ronnie. This was the goal for the season. I mean, my goal entering trucks was to make the Final Four and finally win in trucks, and we completed both. So, check mark on the season. Anything else now is just icing on the cake. But yeah, really proud of how tonight went for us. Like we went out there, qualified well, stayed up there, did a little bit of risky strategy, but worked out, got good stage points, and after that, really kind of cemented myself that I'd be good as long as I just finished the race. So after that, we kind of played defense and just played everything really careful and laid in the back and saved our stuff. We got a few incidents back there, but we were able to limp a somewhat crippled truck home 7. So I'm pretty happy about today.
All right, now next week at Homestead, Miami, it's a clean slate, no points. Highest finisher takes all. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like I've had like a gap a lot of these playoffs in the season, but this will be the first race since Daytona. I don't have a gap. There is no ands if or buts. We got to finish higher than the 3 other guys. I feel good about it. I mean, Homestead is a slick track. I'm usually pretty good at those. And we'll see what they got from next week. We will definitely be a contender.
Absolutely. Moving on to your second guy to make the championship 4. He came into the playoffs, got it started off on the right foot with the win at Indianapolis, and tonight he got it done finishing second. Nicholas Trudeau, you're moving on as well, brother.
Awesome, man. I'm wicked excited. I'm ready for the championship round.
Absolutely. Tonight's race started 11th. Well, you finished second, and I say this very jokingly, but somehow getting that 89 truck into second because you were involved in the first 2 accidents tonight.
Yeah, I was not a happy camper on the radio the first 10 laps of this race. We had those 2 incidents, and I thought I had an X on my truck somewhere. And someone didn't want me to make the Final Four, but I don't know if you had money in that run or what, but I was not happy. And then we got into it on pit road when everyone checked up there. So we were wrapped up in 3 incidents, and I took not a lot of strategy, but we came down at the caution right before the stage. We're only looking at 2 to 1 points or so, and I'm like, screw the points. And we got tires, and then we came around after the stage, and then we looped to the front of the field, and then we were up front the rest of the race. So that's what we really needed to do, just get some cleaner air, and then we were able to maintain. So happy to get a second place finish. I'm tired of looking at that one truck's ass for the last 2 races, so looking to come home P1 next week.
Absolutely. What's it going to take next week to get that win?
Wreck 'em. That's what they wanted to do tonight. So I guess I gotta race just as dirty as everyone else. So we'll see. I'm gonna be aggressive and hopefully just run a clean race and stay out of trouble compared to tonight. So we'll see what happens and just maintain with those other guys. I know Peyton will be up there and the others that are in the championship 4. So it's going to be a really tough race. And I think it's going to hopefully have some long green flag runs, and that's where we're strong. So hoping to have a good run there. I've been practicing since before playoffs. So.
Yes, sir. We'll find out if that practice makes perfect next week, but congrats on making the championship 4.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Moving on to your third driver to make it into the championship 4. Well, last week in the post-race interviews after Auto Club, he had the Kyle Busch mic drop interview of the night. We finished third tonight. Andrew Bolander, you're also the third driver to make the playoffs, or the championship 4.
Surprises me.
You had a great run tonight. You know, it's like we were talking about when we were going over the points. You know, when you needed to, you really clutched it up.
Yeah, just I've already been good under pressure and even in other leagues. But yeah, Dover's a pretty good track for me, so I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Next week, how do you feel about it?
That, on the other hand, I am not confident in.
Well,
So I'm gonna have to wreck them.
when it seems like you lack confidence, that's when it always seems like that number 8 shines the best.
Maybe it'll turn around this week. I don't know. We'll find out.
Absolutely, brother. Well, congrats on making the championship 4.
Thank you.
And moving on to your final driver to advance. Well, he won the regular season championship, and it came down to every single point earned from there on out. Nicholas Donfrancisco is your 4th place holder in the championship 4.
Yeah, that sounds good to hear. I didn't think 8th place was gonna be good enough to make it to the final round, but we're gonna give it everything we got. So hopefully, we can hit a home run and go win this thing.
Absolutely, man. What's it going to take next week to hit that home run like you mentioned and get that bomb out of left field and go get that championship trophy?
Just gotta hit my mark and be smooth and hopefully not wreck anybody to win the championship, like what happened for the regular season. Just try not to do that again, but we'll see what happens.
Yes, sir. So congrats on making your championship 4 appearance.
Thank you.
Now let's move on to the first guy to miss out, Matt Tucker. Man, had a solid race going, but 10th place is not going to cut it tonight.
Yeah, just disappointed. Like we had a good run to start the race, and there's a lot of strategy that was going on that first stage. Guys trying to save tires and just trying to manage it all the way through. So me and Kat were trying to manage that. We ended up doing okay and getting some stage points, and then that second stage we had that long green flag run, and then that just couldn't get it done. But me and Don Francesco were basically tied going into that last stage, and we had a heck of a battle with 20 to go, and he got by me clean, and congrats to him and Nick and Andrew and Peyton for moving on to championship 4. So hopefully best man wins. Any of those guys deserve it, and be crowned them your champion for seasons 4. So any of them can get it done, and so it'd be exciting at Homestead. So, and also shout out to David too. He back to back in the later stage of this race or of this season, and it'll be a force to be reckoned with next year too. So he's just coming on strong, getting better too. So congrats to him for winning, and the other 4 for moving on.
Yes, sir. And then moving on to your 6th driver to not make it, Cedric Ingram. Man, a top 5 just not quite enough tonight. He was in here, right?
Josie's talking.
Is he?
He's trying. I saw his green bubble.
Yeah, his name's lighting up and everything. Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe while he tries to get it figured out, Christopher Thomas. Man, what a run you had tonight in that 4th place finish.
Yeah, what's going on, Ronnie? How are you?
Not too much, man. Very strong run with, your teammate David Chandler obviously getting the win, but you were right on him for most part of this race, and then you found yourself 3 laps down.
Yeah, as it's been mentioned multiple times, I guess everybody thinks these things are drag cars and want to go wide open when the green flag, goes out. Don't know just how to ease on the throttle, and let's get started nice and easy, and then we can run hard after we get the tires rolling when they're nice and cold and fresh. But yeah, ended up they all checked up, got in the back of Nick, which I felt terrible for because I know he was racing for that to be in that final 4, and I said the heck with it. Let's just get my damage fixed first. Went 3 laps down, so I had to save as much as I can to stay up there close to where I can get my lucky dog. And I got back in there and drove my way to the front.
Absolutely, buddy. So I got to ask, when's that win coming? You saw David Chandler get it done 2 weeks in a row, and obviously he's your best friend in the league. So when's that win coming for that number 5?
I don't know. It's getting close, Ronnie. I mean, as you can tell, me and David's been putting some practice in. It shows. We get in here in the middle of the week and get in there with Nick and a bunch of other guys, and we run practice. And we push these things to the limit during practice to see what they will do and what they won't do. And then we get in here early and run laps. And when I say practice, I'm not talking 25, 30 lap practice and then go to bed. We're putting in 120, 150 laps. And just running trucks as much as we can, officials and practice. So the more we drive them, the better we're getting. And just if I could have been a little bit closer, I might have been able to have something for David. But you never know till I get there. So we'll see.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, that practice is certainly showing off here in these last couple of races. So congrats on that top 5 tonight.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Real quick before we close it out, Cedric, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I had to re-plug my headset, but I'm up.
There you are. All right, man. Well, unfortunately, that 5th place finish tonight is not going to be enough.
Yeah, we got the first job done and keeping the truck clean and running up front, stayed up, top 5 the latter half of the race. It just sucks, because ultimately for me it just comes down to stage points, which I didn't really get past couple races. Finished 4th last week, 5th this week. I can't complain about that, but hey, the job next week is to finish 5th in the points.
Absolutely, buddy. You've had a strong season, no doubt about it. Backing it up with Michigan. And then obviously Charlotte, you had a good run there. But yeah, top 5. You mentioned it, 4th and 5th in last week and this week. But yeah, those stage points, they are definitely a killer if you miss out on them.
Yeah, I gotta pull a David Chandler next week now and just play spoiler. So
absolutely, buddy. Well, congrats on making it into the playoffs. That is absolutely no easy feat at all.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. But, folks, that is going to do it for your post-race interviews here from Dover International Speedway, where we found out that Tulloch, Trudeau, Bolander, and Don Francisco will go to battle next week at Homestead, Miami, Florida, where we will crown your Season 4 NEXXTCAR Truck Series champion. That is going to be a race you don't want to miss. There's no points on the line. It is all about the highest finisher getting it all. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Tomorrow night, the Next Gen Cup cars come right back here to Dover, and we will find out who is those championship for going to Homestead, Miami. So you're not going to want to miss tomorrow night, and you're certainly not going to want to miss next week. Hope to see you guys tomorrow night. If not, enjoy the rest of your week. God bless, and good night.